Hi, everyone. This is Tom Gowker from Something Came from Baltimore. And if you're listening to this interview and it says The Show, like Kate Edmondson, The Show, Simon Below, The Show, Sean Jones, The Show, that means you are listening to a repeat of an episode that has already aired on thebox.com. Thebox.com is an internet radio station based out of Baltimore. And I recommend that you download the station to your phone, and then you will hear Baltimore music anytime, 24/7. And if you can set your watch to hear Something Came from Baltimore, The Show, it's every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on thebox.com. While this is a repeat of the show, you can listen to Something Came from Baltimore anytime. Just subscribe to YouTube, iTunes, Anchor, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Stitcher. Basically, it's everywhere but Spotify because we play music here. Download the podcast and then flip it to 5 people who may like this type of show. Music fans have to look out for each other. We want you to be a part of the Be More music scene. Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore, The Show. My name is Tom Gowker, and I am the host of Something Came from Baltimore. Tonight, this award season, we have 4 artists who talk to Something Came from Baltimore. Christian Sands, Arturo Farrell, Maria Schneider. Tonight, I am lucky to chat with one of my personal favorites, pianist Orrin Evans. I used to work at WXPN, home of Live at the World Cafe. I worked part-time, and I would catch Orrin Evans play every Monday night at the concert venue that's connected to the radio station called Live at the World Cafe. Orrin Evans is currently performing with the Bad Plus, and he's doing his solo work, and he's up for another Grammy for his latest recording, The Intangible Between. It's Orrin Evans and the Captain Black Big Band. The original interview was called Running Errands with Orrin Evans. Orrin Evans was in his car chatting with me for over an hour, and he's driving through the city of Philadelphia doing his chores. It was fun, and it was great that I finally got to chat with him after all these years. Let's start off the interview with Off Minor. It's a Thelonious Monk cover, and listen to the bass parts in this song, because we chat about that in our interview. Orrin Evans, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Welcome, thank you.
I don't know if you remember me at all because we're talking about 16 years ago. Is that I looked at it, I was like, I remember you on the top floor of the World Cafe Live, and you used to play, I think, on Mondays.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, you hung up.
Man, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Now we're back.
We're back. Okay. I would tell people, I said, you guys don't realize that Orrin Evans is playing for free at Live at the World Cafe. You need to go up there. I was trying to bring a crowd for you. The one thing about that upstairs thing, I don't think they figured out what they wanted to be. They wanted to be high end, but their food wasn't good, and I don't know about the location, but I mean it survived, so it's great. You know, they whatever they tried to figure out, they figured it out later. I remember.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they do their way. I haven't been there in so long.
I've picked up and moved on too. I went down to Baltimore and started having a radio show, so I can't complain. When I set up this interview, I didn't listen to your album yet, so I needed a little more time. And I listened to the new album, The Intangible Between, and my first thought it was very loose and more, like I said, it was like a party style, Mardi Gras style to the album. And then I read where that was the kind of vibe that you were trying to create. How did you set up your...
I didn't set it up any differently. than any of my earlier records. It's just that this time everyone else got it. You know, I mean, that's pretty much how I've always set up most of my record dates. But meaning, come on to the studio, let's have a good time. People act like that's something special. When people will say, oh yeah, the kids came out. I mean, that's what it should be, in my opinion. It should be a party. And that's pretty much what I did with this record. I just said, you know, everyone knew the music. Actually, that's not even true, because there was a lot of new music on this record. But they knew the vibe. They knew the energy. They knew the family, you know. And even Eric Rivas was like, you know, I had some frequent flyer miles. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, come play on this tune. So, you know, it was just really friends getting together and playing music. Can you hold on for 1 second?
You can hear it in the sound of the album. And then I wrote, it's like, why don't people do that all the time? Like, after a couple listens, I was listening to it yesterday when I was working out. I said, okay, this album to me is like a house party for the soul. You mentioned the house party. It's a celebration of community, friendship, and positive energy. And then you respect some people who have passed from your inner circle. It feels like it's a political statement, but done in a positive vibe way. I think this album does.
If that's what it is for you, I'm not sure what the political statement might be. Except, well, of course, okay, I forgot we had that poem on there. I totally forgot about the poem. So.
Well, I mean, the political statement is that love is in need today more than ever, and now we're in the COVID world, which I know you didn't plan it, but. You know, it's, it wasn't a part of your whole mission of the album coming out. But, you know, community is important. Community, friendship, creating communication and bonds and community, like other than your friends, like the community itself is more important than ever. So,
exactly.
It just kind of, your album is political because it addresses all those issues, even when it wasn't supposed to be, I guess.
Right. No, I hear you on that. I hear
you. So Hayden took over the door, and he letting his boys confusion, bigotry, anger, animosity, all in free. To do whatever they want. And that's what they doing, you see. I know, and hate no, if I get in there and spread a little bit of me around, it will wake up unity.
And I am such a big fan of the trumpet player Roy Hargrove, and I know that you kind of did a tribute to him, but you know, he passed away November 2nd, 2018, and I remember the day it went. I went on Facebook, I went on Twitter, but in my mind, he is such a force to be reckoned with, and I don't really feel that the whole world mourned properly on him.
Well, I think the world mourned him and continues to in a proper way based on the way that he lived his life. Meaning, yeah, there may be a dip. I don't think it's, put it like this, Terrence Blanchard, who's done the music to every Hollywood score, blah, 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 blah. I think it would be equivalent to the same as Terrence Blanchard passing, you know, and you get a benefit, a tribute to you at Disney's, which is, you know, or at Jazz at Lincoln Center, not even Disney's, but Jazz at Lincoln Center, and then you go into Disney's. And when I say the way he lived his life, we chose this music, and we chose to play this music that they call jazz. And with that, you might not get the front cover of Life or Time magazine, but you will at some point get the cover of some of the periodicals that represent this music. And everyone associated with that, I think they were there and they mourned him in a proper way. I mean, we think the music is a little bigger than, and it should be, honestly, it should be, but the days of, I don't know, I wonder now, even as I say this, who would be the Miles Davis type funeral now? Like, who would that be? And then that would probably be Wynton, that was maybe the only one. But other than that, just like the Intangible Between, the record date, other than that, you're going to have services that are based on the life that you led around the people that you led it around. And I think that is exactly what happened. I mean, for months and even now, people still post things about Roy and continue to. And the tribute that they did for him at Jazz at Lincoln Center was beautiful. I mean, from everybody up into Common and Erykah Badu, the people who, on that scene that he knew and contributed music for, it would be great, to be honest, like if we saw a Miles Davis type funeral for all of us, but the music isn't being promoted that way. But to be honest, what he did get and what I hope to continue for everyone that makes that journey is I hope their trip home is as beautiful and bountiful as Roy's was, honestly. Outside of music, we always remember Martin Luther King's birthday. We celebrate it. I know Miles, I hope that everybody else does. I know Miles Davis's birthday, and we talk about it. And Icon, his birthday was yesterday, and maybe because of what we're going through with the riot, no one mentioned, at least, and now here I go sounding like you.
Prince.
At least in my world, I didn't see any tribute to Prince yesterday, or any acknowledgement of his birthday. So the point is not the big hoopla on the day of, or right after. It's can we continue to hold that person in the light and show that person tribute so that the next generation, the next coming up trumpet players, don't forget who Roy is. That's what's more important. I mean, I hear you. It'd be great if the world, I don't know if I want it to stop, but I would like it to breathe.
I'm not familiar with Lawrence Leathers, so he was mentioned also for this song. I'm so glad to know you. He played with Mulgrew Miller, and I just interviewed Richie Goods, and I don't know if they worked at the same time together, but Richie was with them for a long time. But two people that you loved, and it really comes out in the song. So it's really pretty.
Oh well, I'm not sure Lawrence played with Mulgrew.
It was on his bio, but his bio was
he probably
tiny.
had one or two gigs, but his main gig was with Andrew Dill. And, I'm sorry, this is the hospital. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Things are good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Okay, so the beginning of I'm So Glad to Know You, there's just a couple notes, and I maybe...
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I forgot to tell you, because I didn't finish that. He played with Andrew Dill. He played with Aaron Dill and Cecile. Those were his main gigs. That's where I've always known, and Lawrence playing with. But we all put names on bios.
Yeah, well, I mean, young guy. It's unfortunate, definitely. I'm so glad to know you. Just a couple bars at the beginning. I'm thinking of a God Only Knows on the piano. Am I close?
That's actually a great reference, and that wasn't where I was coming from, but that's a great reference.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good.
The song came to me before Lawrence passed away. Actually, I was on a let me hit it. I'm closer.
It's just the first couple notes that you played. I was like, oh, it's just kind of a...
And that's great. I mean, that's a great reference. But actually, it was just I took a gig every year with this great vibraphone that's up here, and every year we just write a song that's in someone's house, and every year we just write a song, and that is the song of the year for that year, and then right after that we lost Lawrence.
Ooh.
So I was like, oh man, and I just developed the rest of the song because it really felt like, it felt like a prayer and for Lawrence and a call for him.
You're from the Philly area, and you know that the bars were never happening. It was the house parties that were happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly was weird where either people couldn't afford to go out or you just couldn't be yourself. Like, it was just like you had to go downtown, you got to park, there was stuff. So everyone had house parties. I lived there for, over 14 years. They were the best times.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do, through parties. And that's the same spirit. That's the same spirit I wanted on the bandstand. That house party element, and also I grew up in Philly with some of the older musicians because my uncle was a saxophonist, and it was amazing the people I would see on like a random Sunday. You know what I mean? And my mom would say, "Hey, we're going over here." I'd go over there, and Jimmy Heath would be at like one of them because they were all musicians, and I was a little kid, so I just stayed in a kid's place. But to know that I was sitting next to Mr. Heath and so many others, and Bootsy Barnes, but that's how the music was presented to me. It wasn't in an academic situation. So that's what I like portraying about the music with my band. It's you feel you're at a house party, you are accepted no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, and hopefully you'll learn something, but there might not be a textbook that goes along with what you learn.
Off Minor is a Thelonious Monk song, and I just was listening to it. You have something really cool with the bass separation. There, and each ear is a different bass doing its own thing. I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, it's really what it is there's two basses, or are there three on there? Let me think about that. No, there's two. And they're inside two are in each booth. So there's four basses altogether. Two are in one booth and two are in the other booth. And there were no rules. Everyone knew how the song went. And it's really fun hearing, like you'll hear Eric Revis, and then you'll hear Lucas come in, and you can really hear everyone's distinctive voice. But at the same time, you hear the mutual and admiration that they all have for each other. And I don't want to say they started to play like each other, but they started to at least acknowledge the other person's contribution by the way they were playing. If that makes, it's not a copycat or anything. It's just like, I hear you and I'm going to show you that I hear you. It's no different than when I say to my kids, I'm like, all right, I don't need you to, I just need to see that you understand me by your actions. I don't need to repeat to me what I said. You know?
It's great. I recommend anyone who's listening to that song to throw some headphones on, because I feel you can kind of really isolate the bass tracks. And
shout out to Paul Stash from the Folk Session label. He works really close with an engineer that they've been working together, Chris. And I have to say the sound of the record is something I really, really enjoy. And it honestly is not easy recording with me, because that same kind of vibe that I have at Party and Keeping Open, I also have that. Sorry, let me check this 1 second. Sorry. That was good. I clicked and pressed the wrong button, but that was the phone call I was looking for. So now I'm headed there. So
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, to keep that same spirit and energy going in the way that the album is recorded is not easy. And I really, really applaud Paul and them for getting that same energy flowing with me, because I'll say, hey, let's change this. Even what you're talking about. Try this out. And then we did it.
What does the album mean? The Intangible Between. What does that mean to you?
Well, one, it's a line from the poem. One of the poems on that tune, Tough Love. And when I read it, I was like, wow, you know, the intangible between, I did that, why did I do that? You know, or the intangible between, I did that, and why didn't I do that? And it really takes, and I'm still working on it, it really takes a long time in life to figure out which one you should do. You know, so now, during that moment, you know, think about being a young kid and it's like, I really like this girl. But if I tell her, is it going to ruin everything, you know, when we go out on the playground? You know, is she not going to like me and then we're not going to be friends? You know, but that space in between, trying to figure out what to do, whether it's right, wrong, or just might make you feel weird, if you need to tell somebody, if you're married and you're like, okay, I know my wife really likes that shirt or whatever, but it doesn't look good on her. So I have to sit here and figure out which one do I do. And that space, the intangible, the time, the space in between deciding can be very long or very short, you know, but you have to make the right choice. And ironically, dealing with what we're dealing with right now, we're right smack dab in the middle of that space. You know, what we're going through with COVID is putting us in that space. Like, what are we going to do? I've never been in a situation like this in my entire life where I haven't played for a live audience. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to play for a live audience again. Not on a computer, but like the same energy that I've always wanted and enjoyed by playing live. When am I going to get that? Like, when and where am I going to get that back? So right now, I live in a space, even, you know, musicians and what we should and shouldn't do. I live in a space of, oh, wait, sorry. Do I play online concerts? Is that cool? No, that's not cool. Yeah, it is. Oh, do you ask for donations? Sure. No, that's not cool. You know, I mean, so all those questions come to us every day. You know, do I want to, what musician, performing artist who has been Grammy nominated, you know, and maybe there's more, and I mean, but Grammy nominated and still flowing, you know, still flowing. I'm still working and touring. How many of us thought we would be possibly applying for unemployment? You know, so that space of what do you do and if you make the right choice and making sure you make the right choice is what the intangible between is about. And I know that was a long rant, but I hope it makes sense and connects the dots on it.
And that's what they were saying. Like they're saying that, you know, the kids and the adults are saying that one piece too, over and over. I can't remember it now, but what were they saying? Like, should I do this or shouldn't I do that? Like, what is the thing that they're saying at the beginning of the song and afterwards?
The feeling that says, no matter what, unconditionally, I will do everything and anything to make life better. Love is a science that reaches across boundaries that cannot be seen. It's a brother or sister to faith. Love can make you happy and very long. It will make you understand what it means to be without it. The intangible between. I did that, and why didn't I do that? And why didn't I do that? It is the beginning of appreciation.
So that's it. They're actually they just actually read the entire poem. It's a short poem, and everybody's reading it. But and it's not chanted over and over, but it's read. And the line in there is the intangible between I did that or why didn't I do that? You know, and think about it. Even when you're in arguments, you know, with someone you love, it's like, why didn't I just say it? Okay, I didn't say it. All right, what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and that's the whole point.
So you got a great song with Sean Jones. You worked with him. Are you still You're such a busy man. Are you still working with him anymore?
I'll be playing with Sean Jones until either of us can't play. One of us can't play anymore.
Is a gospel song that was written by Harry Dixon Lowe in 1920. This is a 100-year-old song to this date. And why did you put this on this album?
Well, years ago I did an arrangement of that song for the WDR Big Band in Germany. And when I did that tune, I was like, man, I would love to put that. And it's so funny. The reason I'm even talking slower because I'm thinking about it. How in October I never thought how connected this record would be to right now. You know, just everything we're going through with whether it's, you know, Black Lives Matter or whether it's COVID, you know, it's so interesting that all of these things I did in October, it's turning into something that's getting us through the present day. But I did that arrangement for a big band in Germany, and then I just brought it in for my band for that record.
That's what I was telling you earlier. I said this album is a sign of the times, and you didn't even plan it that way. I mean, it's addressing everything that's going on right now as we speak.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, and it's good when you see the face of evil running your country, and you're like, do you want that? I guess that's the beginning of the name of this album. Do you want to continue with it, or do you want to go away? This is the movement. This is the time right now.
We're definitely in the intangible between, without a doubt.
There you go. That's the ending. That's the ending of this interview. You did
so make the right choice, and that's the ending. Make the right choice.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So,
all right, man.
It was really great talking to you after 15, 16 years. I've been a fan forever. So continue.
Thank you, man.
I just want to say, Orrin Evans, thank you for chatting with me today on Something Came from Baltimore.
Great being here.
Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore.
We hope you enjoyed Something Came from Baltimore today. You know you can listen to Something Came from Baltimore, the podcast, anytime. Just subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Anchor, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Podcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Stitcher. It's basically everywhere you want to be except for Spotify, because we just play music. Join in and be a part of that Be More Music scene. Hi guys, this is Tom Gowker from Something Came from Baltimore, the show. Join me this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and listen to my interview with a 2021 Grammy nominee, Orrin Evans. Orrin Evans and the Captain Black Big Band is up for an award for the Intangible Between. Check us out this Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on thebox.com. If you're here, you're far from square.